Hey everyone, today we're going to subject the Boss OC-5 to the ultimate test and see if it can act as a subharmonic synthesizer like you would get on one of your rack units or sub-bass generators in your DAW. And on top of that, we're going to see how it handles drums and multiple melody lines and chords and everything all at the same time. And in fact, that means it can be quite useful, if this goes to plan, as a way to add more movement to your choruses by dropping in some bass, or literally dropping the bass if it was an EDM song. And we'll test that out too. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, so before we begin, here is my drum trigger module with drum triggers in the actual guitar. And the guitar is going through a yellow comp. To keep things consistent, this line selector is actually blending A and B, so that's blending the drums and the guitar together, so that both are going into my Ditto looper by TC Electronic. Then we have our OC-5, which is our sub-octave generator. It has polyphonic sub-octaves and it can do a lowest note mode, which is really what I want to test out today. So that means that it'll take the fundamental lowest frequency it hears, no matter what that is, even if it's a kick drum, and it'll turn that into a new sub-octave to add to the original dry signal. The first test that I think most of you might be interested in is, let's say you were recording a beautiful little melody and you started embellishing it with chords and little licks and all of that sort of stuff, and then you decided you wanted to sort of go up a notch and add some bass in the chorus only, for example. And let's see what happens if we make a cute little riff and see how the OC-5 copes with all that, right? Okay, going as planned, right? Just adding a sub-octave to whatever lowest note's playing. You can put it into a polyphonic sub-octave mode. And now it sounds like we're outside a nightclub. And you can add in a upper octave too, by the way. But it's not the best thing I've ever heard. Okay, so back to the sub-octave mode with the lowest note being the priority. Alright, I think that's like an amazing thing. But now let's start embellishing and seeing if it gets confused. Okay, so first thing I want to do is maybe just add some chords, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay, you can hear now how those long drawn-out sub-notes are being picked up as a priority. In particular, that low E that I was playing there. And it's wobbling just a little bit, so I wasn't quite loving this riff. But it is hearing two guitars, so cut it some slack. And maybe in this mode, the polyphonic sub-octave mode. You know, it's doing alright. Adding in a little bit more of the register that it hears. Now it's just turning everything into like a melodic bass line. And I think it works really well at that. You might just want to stop at that and then start singing. Hey, this is my chorus, and now I'm gonna take it down, back to the verse, back to the chorus. Okay. Just kidding. Right. So, yeah, I really like that usage, right? Just dropping the bass in the chorus or whatever you're using. Now let's try and go to the next level. We know that we've got our acute melody, we've got those long pronounced chords. So what happens if we add drums? Can you hear boom, boom, boom? Can't really hear the snare coming through though, maybe it was quite light. And obviously the snare doesn't have many, low note characteristics, so it's not really being picked up with all this low end information being fed into the OC-5. But in the polyphonic sub-octave mode, there's your snare. Clock, clock, clock. And of course, if you really are a sucker for punishment, okay, overall, I mean, it's handling drums, multiple notes, chords, and a snare drum. Polyphonic mode. That's pretty incredible, I gotta say. That really is absolutely amazing. You know what, let's just have another little joke with this vintage mode. Here's the -2 octave. Okay, it's just like earthquake frequencies. In fact, it's not even really producing much bass. I mean, maybe if I turned up the speaker, I'd be popping something. Just sounds like. And the polyphonic mode for the upper octave is the same no matter what mode you're in. Alright, that's absolutely wonderful. Let's, test it out with just a couple other cool ideas, like what happens if we made some sort of dance music. How about... Maybe that's a little bit too excessive. Okay, so yeah, snare like that, and let's re-record our little riff, and I don't know what we're going to play, but let's just think of something. In fact, let's think of something really complicated. Okay, lowest note mode working pretty well. Those high notes I was throwing and I was sort of making it focus on them, and whoop whoop. And in the polyphonic sub-octave mode, it sounds great. Sounds like happy hardcore. You know, that is that's a pretty tough test, I gotta say. So I'm pretty happy with that. And maybe just like for a little bit more of a test. Right, so let's do some drum and bass sounds. Let's see, we can play something similar. Okay, much the same. Just my timing's a bit off, of course. Which will drive me scats forever, so let's do something a little bit better. And that vintage mode. Earthquaker -2 octaves. Polyphonic. Oh, it's not polyphonic ones, it's in vintage mode though, so that explains a lot. Alright, so that's the idea. I mean, this has just been an expose on what it can handle and what it can't, and maybe how you could create a more glorious chorus by adding in sub-bass into your chorus only, or, you know, just choosing when you want to drop the bass. Which is actually, you know what, let's do one more test. How about something which is relatively chilled, like future bass, or, you know what, let's do some, here we go, breakbeat. Oh, that's not breakbeat. That's a little too hardcore. There we go. Yes, breakbeat. So, same idea, right? And we're just going to see if we can turn this basic vibe into a chorus. It's not even hearing those higher notes. You know, functioning as intended in lowest note mode. Brilliant, that kick drum coming through. 1 2 1 2, got the energy to pull through. Alright, that's absolutely wonderful. I really think it works amazingly as sort of adding a whole bunch of punch to your chorus, or just to drop the bass occasionally in some sort of electronic arrangement, or just to make, you know, even a beautiful orchestral maneuver that much more powerful when you want it to be. And it handles drums pretty well, and of course that kick drum is really low frequency, so it's going to follow that. And you can actually sort of make up for that in the polyphonic mode. So there you go. I reckon that's pretty amazing. And if you want to try this idea out for yourself, you're welcome to, because these ideas are just in abundance, because I love doing this sort of stuff. Alright, cool. So anyway, feel free to subscribe and like this video if it made any sort of awesome impact in your future guitar career or any other form of music. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one with more crazy ideas. Thanks so much.